an update as to how my 7M went, or what happened rather. Essentially the 7M, I put a 60mm BorgWarner S360 on there to try and sort of get better spool and response for the street, and still make 500 horsepower, or wheel horsepower that is, and I was going to do it on 98 feel for the moment. So I sent it to my tuners and their dyno, and I basically told them I don't want to stay on 20 psi. I want to push it. I want to go a little bit more. I want to make sure that I hit 500 wheel horsepower, and I didn't want to back until I achieved that. So the tuners did tell me that there is the risk of pushing the envelope. So I was well aware, and I took the gamble to try and get the power that I want. And if it blows, it blows. So it did make 382 rear wheel kilowatts. It's about, I think, 512 wheel horsepower on 23 psi with 98 fuel. I think it did it 4 times or so, and then on the last run it blew. So obviously absolutely extremely gutted, but shit happens. It seems there's a potential that the head lifted, and then it sort of obviously damaged the head gasket, and as the head lifted, it also sent like a fire trail back towards the 3 rear cylinders and torched the 3 forged pistons. Now the pistons were probe pistons, which I bought many years ago on a uni budget, so they weren't the best pistons, but I found out just recently that they have a design flaw around the valve cutout, and so when you blow a head gasket, it actually torches the pistons. So it's exactly what happened to my 3 pistons towards the back of the motor. So obviously super gutted and frustrated, given that it made so much power, the clutch started to slip, so we put a new clutch on it, and then it made the power, and then it blew. It probably wouldn't have happened if I went E85, but obviously just trying to keep the costs down, I did what I did, and now I'm regretting it, but it is what it is. Shit happens, engines blow, you're pushing the envelope on 98 fuel there. It can just be a tiny bit of anything that goes wrong at 23 psi, and it just goes fully pear-shaped. So the engine blew, and then I sort of thought about rebuilding it. So I was very much serious about, like, I've spent so much time on the setup, it's ready to go. All I have to do is just replace all the pistons, leave the rods alone because they are Eagle. So I was going to replace the pistons, we were going to fix the slight fire trail damage on the head, which was very easy to do supposedly, and we were going to drill out the 6th cylinder water jacket, new head gasket. Anyway, after all that, you're thinking about $1,000 for pistons, $300 or so for head gasket, reuse the studs, fix the head, all the shit. You might be looking at $3,000 or even $4,000 for something that is still potentially going to fail. At least in the back of my mind, you're pushing a 7M, which isn't the best design motor. You're pushing the limits of that, and of course there's guys out there making lots of power, so I'm not saying it can't do it, but in my circumstance, in the budget that I have, I just didn't want to take the risk anymore. It guts me because I do love the 7M, and I've been running it for 9 years, and if anything, I'm the person that would say I would never go a JZ motor or a JZ motor, purely because everyone else does it. But I've had to swallow my own pride right now, bite the bullet, and I've sort of decided to go with the JZ motor, just for reliability and the fact that there's more parts. And you can argue about this, but it is a better designed motor. It is newer. It's obviously what Toyota have done to improve on themselves. Obviously it's 1 JZ, and then it was 2 JZ, so it's a strong motor. So I'm sitting in a car now. This is a Toyota Aristo or GS300 or whatever, that came with a 2JZ. I bought this Luxo barge from Melbourne, and drove it back home. And I pulled the motor, and so pulled the engine out yesterday, as you can see, and it's sitting here in all its glory. It needs a lot of TLC, and I dropped this torque converter on my finger yesterday, so I got super mad at this engine, but just in the process of ripping off the twins now, and then I'll do like obviously the rest of it later, slowly you know, tear it down. And I'm actually not going to open it up internally. They're quite strong, a motor, and hopefully the way this one looks and the way it's performed, the compression tests show good results. So I won't bother taking it out. I'll just chuck the motor straight in and put my new manifold on it, etc, etc, and then go from there. So I'll keep you guys updated on this, and I'm sorry for I guess not being able to continue the 7M glory. It obviously guts me, but you know, we all got to do what we got to do. So